Hey everyone, and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian, and thanks for coming and checking out this video. Returning subscribers, you know it, you're loved, and excellent, beautiful, amazing people. That's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Random compliments at the start of videos. Today, guys, we're diving into a wonderful post by Masai over on the New World subreddit. This summarizes all the changes that have happened since the preview event all the way to today. There is a lot going on with New World, and it should not necessarily be ignored. Now, if you whether New World's on your radar or not, I'm here to say that I really enjoyed the preview. I've been looking forward to playing this game, and I'm very excited about the beta in July. We've been covering it here on the channel with no intentions of stopping, and I've been working on a really big video coming down the line. Now, for this post over here, I'm going to put the link in the description. Go give it some thumbs up. Go give them some love. This wasn't easy to type up, but what we're going to do is we're going to just dive through the content here to give you the information that you need to know, especially if you're just curious about what has all changed over the last year. Maybe you've been paying attention, or maybe you haven't. There is a lot of links to the different patch notes, so if you really want to get nitty gritty and go dive in, the links will all be there for you, and hopefully you go and enjoy that. Now, if you want to hang out here with me, that's great. I really appreciate it. So we're going to dive through. I'm going to give my updated thoughts on some of these changes. We obviously, I know while we start with October here in this post, we already do know what's happened all the rest of the year. So anyway, I'm just going to summarize it, give you guys my thoughts. As always, I'd love to know yours in the comments below. Thanks for being here. If you feel like I earn it, like, favorite, subscribe, share, and we'll just go ahead and do this thing. If you guys weren't paying attention, lots of feedback from the preview event came in, and I'm sure probably some of the changes that you wanted to see are listed here. But to go ahead and start, over the course of it, in October, they introduced new weapons, starting with the spear and adding in quest lines for these various weapons. So there's a legendary spear quest line. They changed, the biggest change perhaps is the ability cooldowns are no longer global. They're weapon specific. So you have a weapon and you change your weapon, and now you actually have a new set of skills that are on their own cooldown timer, thus giving you and opening you up to more abilities at once. But they did remove 3 weapon slots and setting it down to 2 weapon slots specifically. So your builds are going to be a little bit more, I guess, nuanced. Because you are going to have to make some choices as to how your weapons are going to work together. And that's one of the videos that I actually have coming up here on this channel. So hopefully you look forward to it. I've been putting a lot of work into that video. I'm very excited about it. And it should be live here in the next couple of days. Anyhow, that all being said, they also introduced a new threat system. They updated how logic works for the enemy mobs, how they target and fight each other. Or ourselves, obviously. And then they nerfed some OP power leveling methods from the preview event. Then in November, they added a new endgame zone, Reekwater. Essentially, this is where they also added in fishing with additional fish, all region specific and over the world. They added, obviously, fishing quests to kind of tie in with this trade skill. They continued to update the threat system and added some abilities that buff threat to the tank. They introduced the elite enemy system, in which an elite enemy can have up to 3 traits added to them with various modifiers. This can include elemental damage buffs, armor increases, frost auras, and slow enemies in the area of effect of the boss or the elite enemy. They also added and made changes to the life staff to make it much easier to heal with new lock-on reticles, and it can actually be switched between players using the scroll wheel. And they introduced a critical hit system in which each weapon has a base 3 to 5% chance to crit, and this can actually be expanded with various perks and more. It's important to note that as part of especially the later updates in the spring, massive overhauls to the life staff have also occurred. So if you're wondering if that light dash that essentially was required, especially how movement works in New World, that is no longer a thing. So just be sure to keep an eye out here on the channel for the deep dive into the weapons coming soon. Now in December, they introduced the new weapon, the Great Axe. Obviously a quest line was added for that for legendaries. Here's where it gets fun for PvP players. They added duels in which that you can actually duel up to 1v1 or up to 5v5. So you have a range. You could do team duels, you could do 1v1s. You have to be at least level 10 in order to participate in that system. They also added tower shields and legendary weapon quests for the tower shield itself. And they also updated shield mechanics to add to your overall armor. Also, massive combat overhauls have all been going on at the same time. And so they also removed stagger from light and heavy attacks. They added chains to light attacks. Less animation lock has been added to the system. They updated the input buffer system so you don't feel like you have to queue attacks and abilities so often. And they also let players cancel out of attacks and abilities much sooner than before. And they added sounds to the critical hit system. In January, they overhauled crafting. They introduced the rapier weapon and a new questline, obviously, for the legendary rapier. And then they also added named items that can be crafted with specific amounts of types of ingredients. They added lots of rare ingredients needed to make these same items. And they updated categorical crafting so that you can add different types of resources to the base item crafting. For example, you could input a rare type of metal to improve the outcome of your weapon. You can also you can end up crafting a named item if you procedurally craft one of those in the same specs, and they've also unlocked name item recipes with scrolls and one-use artifacts. The trade skill progression has been reworked to all cap out at 200, and they added 100 plus new named armor and item sets. 2 types of food, both buff and recovery food, have been reworked, and elite enemy systems have actually been updated with dynamic scaling and better hitboxes. So in February, we actually did not get a patch, but they teased some things, and that actually leads us into March, where they added Ebb and Scale Reach, a new endgame zone with large cliffs, dense forests, and a lot of story kind of going on over there. A lot of new enemies were actually added to Ebb and Scale. The new Expedition Garden of Genesis was located in Eden Grove, and in addition to the previously announced Amarine Excavation, they added Outpost Rush. This is a 20v20 PvP mode, which players just form 2 teams and do. Actually, it's PvP VE, so there is a an environment element to it as well. They added voiceover for the main story quests and updated them to go up to level 40. They added weapons and armor quests. Stringing these quests together will take you all around a tournament to craft some decent gear. Many small quality of life adjustments, especially to the UI. They reworked the attribute system, they overhauled the inventory UI, and they updated the huge weapon skill tree rebalance and overhaul. This is where we see the life staff being changed out, how like hatchets work, and honestly, everything I'm being told, everything I'm seeing looks really solid. So I think a lot of people are gonna really enjoy some of the changes. Are there gonna be adjustments in the future? You better believe it. It's an MMORPG after all. Things continue to change. Then in April, they added a new weapon, the Ice Gauntlet. They also added, incentive for controlling the different territories, like, more experience. They also made the existing the forts that exist in each zone, a forced PvP zone. So now you can try to go and capture the fort, which is going to give you additional bonuses for each zone. So each fort controlled also provides a unique buff as well. New expeditions, Lazarus's Instrumentality and Dynasty Shipyard have been added. They added an achievement system, new PvP faction missions, and additional changes to attributes like the threshold bonuses. Once you reach X amount of points, you get a bonus like 10 plus skinning, etc. In May, they added 2 new expeditions, the Shattered Obelisk and the Depths. They added player titles, fast travel points all around the world, added housing tiers, big changes to the different faction missions were overhauled, big XP leveling curve changes, basically giving you more experience for exploring the world. They killing flag players in PvP will actually drop faction tokens in an ever-growing loot table, and they capped gold at 500,000 for players. You can no longer drop items to players, and in fact, they added a secure trade inventory menu, so now you can just hand something to somebody without having to worry about it hitting the ground. They added tuning orbs and that are required to enter in the expeditions. You get these from a quest at first, and then you can have them crafted, or you can craft them yourself using the stone cutting skill. There are various new sets of armor that they've added to the world, some with crafting bonuses and not meant for combat. And they added a new quick interaction social menu. Then in June, pretty much the last major update, even though they're still continuing to update the game, fixing bugs and getting ready for the beta and the release, they added furniture recipes that can be found. You can only start with a small arsenal of furniture, lots of balances and touch-ups to quests, lots of new armor diversities to sets. The new main menu UI has been updated at the player selection screen. They updated character creator with new options. Combat changes, including changes to the default layout, were added. New PvE faction quests were added. Only companies that can now have contributed 10% or more influence can declare war, and also increasing your odds that your company is going to be selected the more influence that you've attributed, so you don't end up feeling like you get robbed by some other company. They've added where flag players actually receive 50% less durability loss for PvP. Respawn timers have been set for camps. They've increased the overall XP needed to level from 7 to 60, made some additional adjustments, actually later kind of changing that back. They're doing lots of adjustments. It's alpha. We're about to go into beta. They also shared a lot of details about their New World Cash Shop. We've covered that here both on the podcast and in videos, so you can check out more information on that. But also, as always, like I always say, it's your money, just do what you want with it, but be educated about what their plans are And again, I don't want to rehash that whole thing in this video because it would be unnecessarily long. However, go check those other videos out and you can always let me know what you think. Anyway, that's the summary of the changes. The game launches August 31st. The beta is on July 20th. You're guaranteed access if you pre-order on Steam and then on Amazon. And the beta is going to run from July 20th to August 2nd. There will be a full wipe when that happens. So with that, guys, this is the video. Hopefully this has been good information for you to have, know, and feel. And you can always let me know if you have any questions, comments, fire them off down in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. Anyway, guys, hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. And hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care.